by Janson.ai. Founded by luxury agent and AI consultant Rick Janson, Janson.ai equips business owners with AI-powered tools, virtual assistants trained to work smarter, and practical upskilling, all designed to simplify operations, reduce costs, and accelerate growth. But the real goal? To give you your time back, so you can build a business that supports your life, not one that runs it. Stop missing your kids' events. Actually relax on vacation. Pour your energy into what matters most. You, your peace of mind, and your most important relationships. Visit Janson.ai to book your free consultation and explore smarter ways to scale.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. This is Rick Janson with the Luxury Agent Podcast, and I'm thrilled to have on today Amy Stockberger. Amy, welcome.
Thank you, Rick, for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Well, thank you. And so I always put out there like, hey, number 1 in South Dakota, number 52 in the country, but why should people pay attention? I like to invite you to do a little 30-second humble brag. Like, why am I investing the next 15 minutes listening to Amy and Rick talk?
Okay, well, I like to say that I have a PhD in failing forward. So I failed forward for so many years and I figured out what the things not to do. So I systemized them so I can do them at a really high level. And it's paid off. So like you said, we're in South Dakota, been the number 1 team since 2017. My team actually runs about 10% of our local market share with only about 20 agents. And we've created a lifetime home support model where we have a system and strategy to take care of the client before, during, and forever, which allows myself and my agents to build a repeat and referral business over 90+%, which we all know a repeat and referral business is worth way more than one that's not. So I'm helping my agents build big, juicy legacies. That's my vision, to help my agents, my clients, my community build big, juicy legacies through our lifetime home support model.
Oh, that's fantastic. Folks, that's a lesson right there in having a terrific soundbite about how to promote yourself. I love that. So, Amy, someone's in your market there in South Dakota. Where in South Dakota are you?
We're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We're the largest metro in South Dakota.
All right, so someone's in Sioux Falls. They're looking at Amy Stockberger. They're saying, well, I want to sell my luxury home. What's making you different? Like when you're going to that listing presentation or when you're preparing for that, because I imagine there's sort of a pregame as well. What's that distinguishing factor that makes you the top pick?
Yeah, well, we have a very aggressive seller strategy, and it starts, with 2 big pillars: our digital presence, and then our word of mouth presence. And I think no matter the size of your city, you need to have that because that's the first 2 places buyers go, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a very target market approach. And I think a mistake that's made in our industry is that agents take listings and then they advertise it to everybody. Well, that makes no sense. It makes no sense to take a $2 million, $1.5 million house and advertise it to a move-up buyer who's capped at 500. And so we figure out, and then that's part of our whole strategy, figure out where that buyer pool lies or who that buyer pool is so that we're marketing that target market to the listing to the right people. One of the ways we have exclusivity with one of our biggest publications here in town that has those C-suites who will get an email that goes out to them right away. So we target market that way digitally. We target market digitally with corporations that we know are moving people in from markets. A lot of times those are C-suites too that have that pay grade that are going to align with that. And then as well as everything we do pay-per-click and getting it out to the right people through those retargeting efforts, which everybody does, nothing new. But the other part of that is that I feel is your word of mouth campaign is huge. And again, in any market, regardless if you're a market like ours, 250,000 or 2 million, but that's the second place buyers come from, is from the real estate agent talking to somebody else. So we have strategic partnerships with all the major corporations within our local market. Whether it's our hospitals and our physician recruitment strategy, where we're on their list for when they bring physicians in, we get that business, or all of our corporate partnerships that we've created, where we're working with these companies who are constantly bringing in good talent. Or just the companies. I have over 100 vendors in my vendor program, local business owners. They're at that level of price point in that luxury. So we have the target market where we're making sure everybody within our ecosystem knows about that property.
That's fantastic. Let's talk to the agents for a second about how you built that. Because I hear a lot of relationships. I hear a lot of intention.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, I feel there's, again, Entrepreneurs like to make things complicated. That's just what we do. That's just how it works, right? We try to make things that are so simple really, really hard. And visionaries especially, they're really known for that, to take things and make it hard. But let's go. The basics of our business is relationships. Your database, your sphere is always going to be your biggest lead source. So I feel, in what I teach agents and my agents locally, is that you need to have as much intentionality on growing that number every single day. So that's what we've done with our lifetime home support model, is built a repeat and referral business by growing those relationships, but by authentically helping those. So, we can't just have a relationship if you're just like, hi, I just want something from you. We've set up a system where we're authentically taking care of their wants, needs, and desires before ours. And what happens then is that the sales naturally follow, because we're setting up our programs to help them scale their businesses, to get them in front of our audience, which is our clients, which we know are going to need their products and services. And we know, we, as real estate agents, we're super connectors, guys. That's who we are. We connect buyers and sellers, and then we connect our clients with everything else they need. And so we solve the problem of getting all those people within our ecosystem, all those companies, so they can care for our clients for life, because the lifetime value of a client is so overlooked in our industry too. And then authentically helping them grow their business while keeping our listings in front of them at the same time. It's just a circle where we're constantly giving, and it works so well on the fact of getting the right eyeballs on luxury listings, all listings really, because they're employees, we do the same thing, but getting it out to the right people, the right target market for that listing.
So if I'm an agent and I'm trying to break into that luxury market, or if I'm trying to refine my strategy, how do I get started with that? I mean, building a lifetime support model sounds like way over intimidating, and I'm not going to kiss it. I'm not going to keep it simple, stupid. I'm going to spend a year building that thing and refining it and go broke because I'm not actually getting any business. So where does somebody start?
Well, an easy place to start is just recreating corporate partnerships, going out to these companies. Think of all the mid-sized companies within your market who are bringing talent in because they're looking for good employees, and knowing, attracting, and retaining good talent is hard. Well, those companies, they're having to sell their city and sell their company at the same time. You can provide a solution. Go find the top 10 or top 10 mid-sized companies within your market and set up relationships with them. Say, for free, I would love to be able to take that off your plate. I would love to, here's my community tour process. This is how I can take care of them. Is there any way that we can meet to walk through that? And going over your knowledge base, you're providing a solution. And I often think agents, they have to reshift their mindset. When they do that, they think, oh, I'm asking them for something, but that's not the case. Really, you're providing a service. Like, hey, do you want to take something off your plate, something that I'm really good at, and that's going to help you retain and attract better talent? I would love to do that for you. And you can take it to the next level, because all companies, this is again, good entrepreneurs solve problems. That's our job. We solve problems. But here's the deal, that every company, one of their biggest problems is employees, attracting and retaining good employees. So you're coming to these HR, to these recruiters, and saying, I have a solution free to you. It's not going to be as much work for you. I'm going to take work off of your plate, and I'm going to do such a good job at it that I'm going to, when they decide to move into town, I'll help them relocate and integrate so that the whole family unit's integrated in the community, meaning your employee is going to be more productive, because an unproductive employee costs that company a lot of money.
Yeah, and moving somebody and then having them leave costs even more.
Oh, yeah, the attrition, just an average employee is like 40-some thousand for an average salaried employee. That's a big number. And so you're coming in providing, even if you go after, again, the top 5 within your market and say, I have a solution for a problem I know companies have. Can I have 5 minutes to show you? Or is it a bad idea that we would sit down and me walk you through this?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's time spent on building relationships. To me, that's $500 an hour work. That must mean that you're getting rid of some work off your plate, right? Some of the mundane tasks. We talked a little bit about how you have VAs involved, virtual assistants, you have AI at work. Talk to us a little bit about how you use that to provide a better customer experience, because you are a serverpreneur. I love how you use that word.
Yeah.
So to be a serverpreneur at the highest level, how are you delegating some of those mundane tasks?
Right. So repeatable excellence is one of our core values. And it's kind of a joke, but in our in my beautiful little business here, that when I say checklist, my team says drink because I say checklist so much. Like it needs to be on the checklist. Like there's our checklists are living, breathing entities. That's just what they are. But we have everything systemized, so we have that repeatable excellence. Well, we found out, decade plus years ago that that could be really easily handled with a lot of VA help. And so we have a good team. I think we have 6 maybe VAs on our virtual team right now who handle a lot of that task manager stuff. That's they're taking down those items. And even before this, but we do a lot of automations. I always joke like the OG automations. So OG automations like text replacement on your phone. Yeah, we do that. Like I don't type out. I always joke like I get to tell a lot of people I love them every day, but I do not have time to type out LOVE space YOU. It's LU on my phone and it types it out. Same thing with everything we do more than once. We have a shortcut for it so that we can automate and make that task. If I can shave 3 seconds off here, 3 minutes off here, then that means my people can serve at a higher level doing something else, which is how we've been able to continue to build in unique value propositions and higher levels of service because we are constantly finding ways to automate those processes.
That's fantastic. I couldn't have said it better myself. And because I preach saving time all day, every day.
Oh, keep your business SAD, systemized, automated, delegated, or deleted. Yep.
Yeah. And that's fantastic. Go into a little bit more about that. The sad. This being sad makes me happy.
Yeah, well, being sad makes this girl so happy. Oh, systems are one of my superpowers. And when a system's not followed, it blows my mind. I don't know. I might be on the spectrum. I don't know, but it just blows my mind when it's not followed. But that is our whole our whole culture lives on that. And here's the other thing. This is one thing that since the AI, like what our staff knows is that first we live by the 1-3-1 rule that if anybody, and we do it with our agents too, that if there's a problem, they have to come to us and 1-3-1 it is what we call it. I think it's the Brad Peterson thing. He's awesome. He wrote the book Startup Santa. He's an amazing human, had beautiful exits on I don't know how many companies, but I believe it's his strategy. But they come to us with the problem first, the one, like what's the problem? Because typically once you clarify the problem, you're halfway to the solution anyway, right? But that's a lot of times people don't really get clarity on what the problem or the bottleneck is. So they first have to come to us with the one. And then they have to come to us with the 3. What are the 3 viable solutions? And then the last one is what is their idea? And if I'm hiring somebody for me to do their job, then I don't need them in their job, right? So I want them to teach them to be leaders of their job of like, how do you get to that? Well, if now with AI, what we've implemented into our culture is that if you're not using a large language model in the systems that we have laid out for you, you're being irresponsibly unproductive. And that doesn't work within my culture. Like, no, like there's so many other ways for us to serve higher. And we've created these, like my chat GPT admin, just for my admin, not the leadership one I use. I built that. I grew that. I had, that was my first knowledge base that I put everything. I mean, it knows everything about me, where I am on the disc. It knows everything about every goal we have. It knows every department, what their KPIs are, knows all of those things, what our marketing goals are, so that when my staff is using that, they're constantly going in, making it smarter. But that's where they need to go first. Or if they're going into Claude, if it needs something different for something else, or Grok, but if it's more content stuff sometimes. But again, it's just having those systems and that expectation of that, because we don't have the answers for everything, right? And we're always supposed to be future-proofing our business as entrepreneurs. This is how we're future-proofing it, by helping our team, our leaders, be leaders themselves and find solutions themselves so that we can all raise higher and serve higher.
Nice. And I like it in that 1-3-1. If you don't happen to be gifted in a out of the box thinking sort of capacity, ChatGPT can now help you do that, or large language models can help you do that, right? But here's my problem. And based off of the Startup Santa, help me strategize what the top 3 viable options are. Let's start with 9. Let's refine those, whittle those down to 3. Because that sort of out of the box thinking isn't a gift that everybody has.
Totally. Well, so my leadership, I'm kind of embarrassed that it took me this long to figure this out. So we're sitting in our 90-day, we do EOS, and we run EOS, and we're sitting in our last 90-day quarterly meeting. And we had used, we each used our own, AI to help our rocks be smart. Rocks are your 90-day goals that everybody within their seat run, right? And so I'm like, oh my
And
gosh.
SMART is an acronym, and EOS is an acronym.
Yes. Yeah. EOS. Yep. Yep. Entrepreneurial Operating System. So that's how we run our business. We run it just in 90-day in sprints. And there's different people who are like, we're all sit in different seats. I'm the visionary, but I also sit in the marketing seat because that's part of one of my loves. And so, but my finance seat is my husband. My support seat for my agents is actually my son. My business developer sits in that seat, and my ops sits in another one. And but we all have our own rocks to help us get to our next level of growth, because we should always be focused on what is most fixed or what is most broken in our business that we can fix the fastest with the highest amount of ROI. So we're looking at what is that, how does that align with what our next growth stage is? And we created just a GPT on this where we can go in and make that rock smart. Like, is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Like, is it timely that we're gonna be like, so those things to making sure, because it's sometimes you're sitting in a day meeting, you can get gumbled. We're humans. Our brains are like, okay, yeah, that does seem smart. And I'm like, no, it's not. Then we go to the next meeting, like, that was garbage. What were we thinking? And it made it so much easier for us this time. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, we just got done with what was normally like an 8-hour process in 6 hours. And our goals are so much more viable and make more sense because of this beautiful time we live in.
Yeah. And if people aren't using AI for their quarterly planning, they're just missing the boat.
Right. And I think we talked about this already once, but just to reiterate, so think about this, real estate agents. If our business is built on relationships, and we know big tech, different people have been trying to take a big portion of the real estate agent's job, what should we be doing? We should be 10xing down on those relationships, on how we can serve at a higher level, because that's one thing tech will never be able to do. You can use tech to take care of all those other things, which you should be doing, but you also need to be becoming that advisor for life, so that you are the one who is going to be remaining in this fight that we're having in our industry right now to stay of the high values of service and provide that experience the clients need and crave, outside of all the other things that are kind of coming in and getting really noisy.
And there's a lot of noise out there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, at the time of this filming, at the time of this recording, we're talking about clear cooperation. We're talking about pocket listings. We're talking about commissions. We're talking about all this stuff that really doesn't serve the customer any better.
Right. I couldn't agree more. It doesn't make a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense. I was just before this, I was doing our weekly team meeting, and like, at the end of the day, guys, your job is to get as many eyeballs on your listings for your sellers as possible. That is why they hired you. This is what we need to do. That is the end goal. Who are you calling today? Who are you talking to? How are you leveraging that relationship in your time to make sure you're doing what you were hired to do?
Yeah, which is get them the maximum possible price, the least amount of stress, and the least about in the time frame that's good for them. That might not be the shortest time frame, but it's getting to know your customers' wants, needs, and desires, and then fulfilling on that.
Totally. Yep. Beautifully said. Yep.
Amy, any closing thoughts for us? I appreciate your time here, but I know your time is worth more than $500 an hour, so we've already capitalized on too much of it. Any closing thoughts?
No, I just think that agents, now is the time to really, like I said, 10x down on being that advisor for life and finding ways to make sure you're caring for that client, that lifetime value. I love this. I say this at some of my speeches. So, but Christopher Lockhead, he wrote the book Category Kings. He has this quote that says, if your profit model is based on transaction and not lifetime value, you are always going to be looking over your shoulder, waiting for your clients to leave you for a younger, better looking you. It's time to double down on the lifetime value of your clients, and then systemize and make that business sad at the same time. Systemize, automated, delegated.
Perfect. How can they reach you if they want to relocate to Sioux Falls?
You can get me at Amy Stockberger on Instagram, Amy Stockberger Real Estate everywhere. I'd love to reach out. We have a beautiful lifetime home support model that can relocate and integrate you in.
Nice. Thank you so much, Amy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you.
This episode of the Luxury Agent Podcast is brought to you by Janson.ai. Founded by luxury agent and AI consultant Rick Janson, Janson.ai equips business owners with AI-powered tools, virtual assistants trained to work smarter, and practical upskilling, all designed to simplify operations, reduce costs, and accelerate growth. But the real goal? To give you your time back, so you can build a business that supports your life, not one that runs it. Stop missing your kids' events. Actually relax on vacation. Pour your energy into what matters most. You, your peace of mind, and your most important relationships. Visit Janson.ai to book your free consultation and explore smarter ways to scale.